Woohoo. You get a recording. It's recorded. Yeah, and I thought of one thing. The culture here is, well, I don't know if I'm right, but my observation is that a lot of people drink, so they meet at a bar or something. But like, I
Mhm.
am not really a drinking person. I guess I'm probably allergic to alcohol. I turn red very easily, and then I become very like hot, and I
Mhm.
just don't like. So a lot of people like alcohol. I get it. It must be feeling great. But like for me, I feel like itchy, and I don't feel well, and I'm like so sleepy. So then I'm not as fun. Uh,
Wait a minute. Wait, is that not call it like what's the term for the red skin? Oh, the Asian glow. Oh my
yeah,
gosh. Yes.
whatever. Yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah. I think I read somewhere. It says
right?
like a lot of Asians lack one kind of enzyme
Uh-huh.
to process alcohol. So that's
Yes.
why we turn red so easily, but it's
Yes.
actually a protective mechanism so then we don't
Mm-hmm.
overdrink. Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't really
I
care because I don't like, do you? Well, probably you do like to drink, but
I
I'm not
mhm.
sure.
I'm gonna say I think that I drink to socialize, but
Yeah.
I cannot drink a lot. I think that 2 glass of wine um would be perfect because
Yeah.
if I drink more than that, then I start having like rashes, especially around my neck. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the outcome is definitely not pleasant because when people are trying to have conversation, you're just busy like scratching your neck and then
Yeah. Yeah.
your shoulder and then your
Yeah.
face.
Yeah. And
So
people
yeah,
point at me. It's like Pink's drunk. But it's excuse me, it's half can of beer. I just turned red. So I can't argue I'm not drunk because they just think I am. Um but it's just like I don't really enjoy the taste of alcohol that much.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't feel relaxed. Well, probably I am because I'm sleepy. But it's just like I don't feel there is hmm
Yeah.
I don't feel that it builds up my connection to my friends, if
and
that makes
app
sense.
and absolutely, and it's really, I mean, it's kind of sad too in a way where but okay, again, this is just strictly from my opinion,
Of course.
and if listeners disagree, please like Pink said, like comment below. Okay.
Yeah.
But I found, based on my observations, that it is sad that people chose to drink alcohol so they can feel relaxed, so they can feel like they can have conversations. Yes, probably work for some people, but
Oh, yeah.
I feel like, for me, you know to have great conversation doesn't have to be with, oh yeah,
To have
but
with
to have
alcohol.
with alcohol, but
Yeah, got it, got it. Yeah. Well, so I felt that builds up another barrier because a lot of my classmates or schoolmates, they gather, they want to have a
Mhm.
drink like a beer.
Mhm.
And I'm like, mm, I don't feel comfortable joining that kind of party because it's like everyone else is drinking and I'm probably too sober. So then
Mhm.
I don't really know how to connect with them if I don't drink.
Girl, I think that once like this COVID thing
Mm,
is, scaled back all the way to like, anyway, that not as severe
yeah,
as of now. I think you should try, join my meetup, or hopefully, we'll have that gathering and then you
yeah,
can get to know, because, you know, uh, not, well, I'm gonna say like, we don't really drink usually at the potluck. We don't really, like, some people drink alcohol, but a lot actually they chose not to drink. So it
yeah,
was really nice,
yeah.
still welcome. Hmm.
And they have to drive.
Yes, they have to. Yes. Uh,
That has become a very good excuse. But like, usually I take bus or the train, so I don't have that excuse. I'm like, later
uh,
I'm gonna walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I respect that because I do feel if the alcohol is good, and then I also get to know like the wine, the making process and all that, is an art. And if you, some people find it relaxing or kind of like a means of to connect, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But I just
Yeah.
find it's hard for me to build my social circles because
Yeah.
I this is just something that I don't want to do. But yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
hmm. You
Yeah.
ready for the last question?
Oh wait, can I tell you a story about wine?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, okay. Okay, now this is all the way back to last year when, I start like trying out like bunch of meetup groups, and one of this meetup is, experience the taste of wine. That's not the name of the group. I'm not going to reveal what it is, but it's something like that. Then so we went to like this place that have the wine flight. So you pay like $15, and then you sample like different kind of wine. So that was really, yeah.
Ooh, like wine
It,
tasting trip.
what? Yeah, like wine tasting. Yes,
Mm.
that was in downtown, close to the 16. I can't remember the name of the place because it's been a while, but it was kind of in the alley. But anyway,
Yeah.
so I talked to some of the other meetup members who've been going there, because they seem like they know each other, and then we started talking about wine. So one of the members asked me, so Augie, like, what is your type of wine? What kind of wine? And I said, well, I'm still learning, but the kind of wine that I like, I like, I like Chardonnay. I like rosé. And I said,
Yeah.
great. What about like brand wise? Do you have any preference? And I said, well, I don't really know much about brand, but I can
Mm.
tell you that I like Behringer, Sutter Homes, Yellowtail. So those
Wow.
wine bottles are under like $12, right, per
Yes.
bottle.
Yeah.
And one of the members saying that, well, sometimes you have to shell out $75 ish so you can experience a fine wine.
Oh.
Oh
And the
my.
and the wine that you got, was it like, I think they're also available at Costco, right? Because I've seen them, especially the Yellowtail.
um, I don't know if the Costco, I guess I didn't really pay attention like
Oh, okay,
in
okay,
my
okay. Got it,
Costco
got it.
Vada.
Yeah.
But I know
But
some
like, I
Costco
get
like
your point.
some,
Yeah, it's like they're talking about price range.
and I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, for me, I think that I'm good with those wines.
How did you feel when they said that?
I just feel like, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to spend $75 to
Ah.
taste a fine wine. I'm sorry, my income doesn't support to have that kind of luxury. I
Mm-hmm.
That's what I
Mm-hmm.
think. Of course, if let's say someone donating, oh, here I give like $75 bottle of wine. Of course,
Like
I
a
would
gift.
like a
Yeah,
gift.
you
Yes.
probably taste it, but otherwise, we're not gonna take out money from our pocket and to say to
Yeah.
buy that bottle. I get
So,
you.
so it's just, and then that whole conversation suddenly just, I guess that I just didn't feel click. I feel like, well,
Mm,
I don't really know much about wine, but I feel like, when someone said you need to spend that $75 or beyond so you
mm.
can experience the taste of wine, and I just feel like that's not me. So
Do you
then I
feel
stopped.
judged?
Um, I I mean, I feel, I just feel I didn't feel the pleasant experience. I'm just gonna put it that way.
Do
Maybe,
you
yeah.
a little bit offended?
Not necessarily offended. It just kind of feel weird. It just feel
Mm,
like
awkward.
awkward. Yes, kind of like giving me a bad taste in my tongue. Is that even a phrase? Is that even
I
an
don't
idiom?
know, but I
I
kind
don't
of
know.
understand what you're
But
saying. Yeah, it's like,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
such an
Anyway,
awkward situation. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Mm,
Anyway, okay, so that's the story of
yeah,
my made-up experience. But
yeah,
all I'm saying is that we just have to try and see whether that club, that venue, that people work for us, whether we
yeah.
feel welcome, whether we feel okay. I guess we can come back. Because if we don't try, we don't know, right?
That's
Um,
right. Yeah,
so yeah.
yeah. Well, sorry, I was thinking about like where you get those wine, but
Oh.
but yeah, I felt I asked you that question in a weird timing, but like, well, this is authentic. I'm learning to have a better conversation. Yeah. Are you ready for the last question?
Oh yes, of course.
Yo-ho. Okay. What
Yeah.
are the things that you wish Americans would know about you or your cultural background?
Well, I mean, I think that what I learned from my friends who are, native here, um, they know Bali, but some didn't know that Bali is belong to Indonesia. They thought like Bali is just an
Oh,
island country island.
yeah. Oh, they thought it was a country.
Yeah, country like yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But some actually don't really know, about
Mm,
Indonesia just because there are not many Indonesian restaurants in Oklahoma.
that's right.
There are not many Indonesian restaurant in Texas or even here. There are not many. I mean, there's like a
Mm,
Malaysian restaurants, but there's no
yeah.
like pure like authentic Indonesian. So because there are not many, I guess I think that um, it's just about educations.
Mm,
I mean, people like now, okay, the capital city of Indonesia is Jakarta, but that's about it. I think that there's so
mm,
many um, things that people here can learn about my culture, about my
yeah.
country.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, rendang. So there is a popular dish from Indonesia. It's called rendang. And
Mm-hmm.
then according to CNN, which I didn't make this stuff up, y'all can look it up online. But rendang is voted as like number one something something favorite international dishes according to CNN.
Oh, okay. How do you spell that?
Oh, Rendang. So rendang. Rendang is Indonesian dry beef stew.
Beef
Um,
stew. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Mm.
It's so savory. You can get it really spicy, or you can get it like maybe like more into the sweet side. So it really depends because every province, how like here. Well, okay. First of all, like guys, those listeners, how here like people call like states, like there's like in the U.S. But in
Yeah.
Indonesia we use it province.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
every province have their own way of making that the dry beef stew. So if you're from the Sumatra side, which is the west side of Indonesia, think of that's closer to Singapore, Malaysia. um, how people make rendang tend to be kind of like dryish, that the gravy is thicker, it's definitely more spicy. But if you're going east, like the Java, the West Java, just like going east, like from the Sumatra to Java, then usually like the rendang is, a little bit like Swedish, like sweet, like more sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, according to CNN, is, number one vote as like popular or like, I can't remember, but it's
Yeah,
it's right
yeah.
there, it's out there.
Did you make it for us last time when you came? Because I remember you brought a dish with beef, but I don't know if it's rendang or not.
I don't remember, did I?
Never mind. Well,
I mean, I know that I made something,
yeah. And
but
it was so tasty. Mm.
was it rendang? It's been a while. Or I remember like Norberto was there.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Mm.
How about you?
Mm. I wish people would know Taiwan is not Thailand and Taiwan is, well, that's debatable, but like we Taiwanese don't think we are part of China. We're a separate country, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very difficult to justify my
Okay.
nationality sometimes because people will just say, "Oh, part of China, right?" And I'm like, no. And then it's kind of hard to explain the whole thing because it's
Mm-hmm.
historical, political, diplomatical as well. And so I guess that's one thing I really wish people would know. It's like having a nationality that recognized worldwide is a privilege because mine isn't recognized for a lot of people. Another thing I think,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because I teach Mandarin Chinese, a lot of times I will say Mandarin, but no one knows what that is. People just say that you speak Chinese, but mm, there is no such spoken language called Chinese. So when you speak Mandarin, you speak Cantonese or something like that. People,
Mm-hmm.
even Chinese people or us, we use Chinese in a wrong way. Chinese is more for the script.
Oh
Like,
my goodness, I remember that. Remember when
right?
that's the part that I was just so confused because I think that with the interpreting,
Mm,
depending on, what, okay, I have to say this, for the Chinese language, like they speak Mandarin or they
yeah,
speak Cantonese. But
yeah.
then when it comes to writing, it's
It's the same
it's
text.
it's the same text, and that's
Yeah.
why, um, I keep asking our customer, um, what, it translations to, what language, and she just said, the Chinese.
Yeah. Well, so may I kind of do an
Yes,
overview of this,
please,
and then
please,
if those
please.
people who are interested, you can keep listening. If you're not, this is about all. This is what we have to offer. So Chinese script, there are two of them. One is the traditional one, which is used in Hong Kong and Taiwan. Actually, in ancient China, they also used traditional Chinese script. But after
Mhm,
the Communist Party got in power, they changed traditional Chinese script into simplified Chinese. So that's why in a script or text, there are two kinds. So traditional Chinese and simplified. Most of us, we understand both. When we're maybe educated to the high school level, we can read most of them, like
mhm,
vice versa. So Taiwanese can easily read simplified one, and the Chinese, mainland Chinese people also can read traditional Chinese. However, in the spoken language, Chinese is a bigger umbrella. Um, every province will have their own accent, and then a lot of province they will have their own dialects. So for example, the
mhm,
most
mhm,
common one, the official language of China and Taiwan, it is Mandarin Chinese. So that's why I always say Mandarin Chinese because people don't know Mandarin, but actually it's just
mhm.
Mandarin. So either you can say 普通话 is that, so when you
普通话.
go to our countries that you say 普通话 or 国语, just so it means a country language, then
Got
that's
it.
how it is. But Goryeo is more used for Taiwan. So there are different terms for that. So Mandarin is the most common term if it comes to English. And then there is
Mhm,
Cantonese, right? So in Guangzhou or in Hong Kong, they speak Cantonese. A lot of people in Singapore, Malaysia, or even in Indonesia, those overseas Chinese also speak Cantonese or Hakka
mhm,
or Hokkien. Hokkien is like from the Fujian province. They call it Hokkien or Taiwanese or
mhm,
Min
mhm,
dialect. So
mhm,
they're the same term, but like each dialect in different or regions will have their own accents or tone or some kind of usage. Just like English, when using Australia, the UK, and US, or even in Canada, there are different ones, but they're still English. So that's happening
Okay.
to Mandarin as well, to Cantonese, or Hakka, or so many other Chinese dialects. So when you're hiring an interpreter, make sure that they speak the dialect correctly, because for me, I cannot interpret Cantonese. I can understand a little bit more. Or Taiwanese, I can understand a lot more or speak a little bit, but to a certain extent, for professional interpretation, I can't do those two. I can only do Mandarin. But
Gotcha.
when it comes to translation, because it's written and also because of technology, woohoo, it is so easy for us to convert either from traditional to simplified or vice versa. So then when you're hiring some translators for some documents, of course they will be aware there are some usage or vocabulary differences, but then I think it will be a lot more forgiving that if you hire a Chinese person to translate some documents to Taiwan, or you hire a Taiwanese to translate the things going back to China.
Gotcha.
Yeah, when we're professional enough, we know how to convert those vocabularies. Just like in English, color, this word is COLOR in the US, but it is COLOUR in the British colonies or like those British Orange countries. So we know. And then I think a professional English translator will also know. Yeah. So that's about all I have to say. That was, I felt I was like a teacher.
Hey,
which I am.
Hey, this is like really important, you know.
Thank you.
And you know, we really appreciate the explanations. Because like I was just so confused. And you know, the thing is, when you get the request from, you know, our agency, the customer is, you know, from Taiwan.
Yeah.
And that's why I, you know, said, let's ask Ping.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So, but yeah, and you know, like she is very satisfied. Like she said that, you know, she's happy with the result, and you know, very pleased. So there you go.
Thank you. So if your agency is looking for some translators, it's awesome to hire someone from that country. That's like a default. But if you don't have the people available, like Taiwanese can translate for them, and then Chinese can translate for us. That's like we'll meet the minimum requirements.
Gotcha.
And then we understand each other pretty well. And then not that many people will care if there is a vocabulary difference, or like, because you're abroad, so you have limited resources. When you get things translated, it's already a great thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. That's all I have to say. I mean, there are definitely a lot more things that I want to say, but you know, I mean, for the time-wise, we had a great conversation. And
we do have great conversation. This is really nice. And, you know, honestly, like, I really enjoy your podcast.
Thank you.
I feel like, you know, I've learned a lot. I think that this whole conversation is, okay, I'm saying, as I get older, in my 30s, I feel that I favor more of quality conversations. I feel like when we engage in quality conversation, and that's how we learn about that person.
Yeah.
But exactly, about each other. You know, because the thing is, when we just watch TV or you know, listen to the radio, there's no, it's just like the one way conversations. But when we have podcasts, something like this kind of opportunity, you know, we engage in a conversation that, I just learned something new about you. You just learned something new about me.
Yes.
Vice versa.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm doing this, because I want to bring out more underrepresented or minority stories. Because a lot of times that we are listening to experts or celebrities on whatever platform that is, but that is not the majority of the people. Most of us,
Right.
we're common people and we're the general public, and then we, especially for example, this episode we talk about international experience, and when we come here as international students and then we settle here and the things that we like or don't like, and we compare the differences. And also it's like at the end we talk about, I hope some of the things from our culture um will be more aware for other people. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and no matter who's listening, I would appreciate comments. Nothing that we said is absolutely the truth, but this is
Mm-hmm.
our experience, and we hope to engage more of this kind of conversation.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
especially like during the COVID,
Yeah.
I think that it's just nice to have, quality conversations. I keep saying quality conversations. No, I just wrote that down
Yeah.
also.
Yeah. All right. So thank you so much for coming, Aggie.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's
Yeah.
been a pleasure to, have conversations and, be part of your podcast. I really wish that you will grow your audience,
Mm-hmm.
because this podcast is amazing. Like really, this is because this, like you said, this is from regular person, like people like us that we would like to express our voices, that our thoughts, our experiences. So yeah, it's great.
Cool.
Thanks for listening to Chai with Ping. Let us hear your voices and stories. Please share this episode, like and follow us on Instagram at Chai with Ping. You can also email us at chaiwithping@gmail.com. Till next time.